Hi. My name's Donovan Ferrara, and I won a CEDH championship, 5K and SCG in Milwaukee over the weekend, and just got some talking points here, and just wanted to go over everything and try to get some feedback, talk about the games I played and how the deck felt, maybe some stuff I want to change, and try to get, feedback interaction about that, and see what people think. So yeah, so it's my first CD. It was my first CDH tournament, like, ever. So we play like $100 budget tournaments at my local store, Iron Golem Games, up in Marquette, and those are CEDH oriented, so you kind of get like the politics and stuff, but it's not traditional CEDH, and we get like 10 to 20 people for those, sometimes more, and they're super fun. If anyone can make it to one, they're a great event. We do this like once a month, but yeah, this was my first like real CEDH tournament. And yeah, winning was like not in my expectation, I would say, but it was welcome, obviously, and I had a wonderful time and met a lot of really cool people. So and like the weekend overall was just like amazing. There was like a lot of really, meeting all the artists was great. Meeting some of the like internet personalities was super cool. The judges were all like really fun to interact with. They were all like super fair, and I appreciated all of them being there. Um, so for the main tournament, I ended up overall 5-1-1. So 7 rounds, including semifinals and finals. I had one loss in the Swiss and one draw in the Swiss. Um, and I started out 2-0, then ended up getting a draw, then a loss, and then one fifth round to end up 3-1-1 in Swiss, which put me as second seed going into semifinals. Um, so that was a great place to be, obviously. So I was first in the second pod for semis, and I'll try to talk about a couple of the individual games, but not all of them, because honestly, I don't necessarily remember all of the commanders. Some of the games I did win pretty quick. Um, the first game I won, I played against Tyler from Play to Win, which I haven't watched a ton of their stuff. The only internet person I really watch is Comedian. Um, and just like his individual videos basically. But yeah, it was like cool to like have a really pretty fun game. I kind of got off to just a pretty good start. Um, Tried to throw a win together pretty early. There was like a little bit of interaction. One of the players did have to use a pact when they couldn't pay for it to try to stop me, and I just had the answer for it, and then was able to go off from there and get the win on that one. The second round, I honestly cannot remember what I played against. Um, and then most of this is actually because the third round was probably the most fun game I had out of all the matches. And I played against a gentleman named Corbyn from the Dankest Dungeon. Super cool dude. It was great to meet him. We talked about shrines. I was telling him about how I'm probably going to play Heibai at our next budget tournament. And he was playing Go-Shintai in this event, which was so cool. This deck was like so interesting and like so hard to play through, honestly. It's got a bunch of rule laws, and like even if you're interacting with the rule laws, basically at any point in time, he can just put one back into play with Go-Shintai, which was just awesome. And it's really interesting interaction to be able to interact from your graveyard with enchantments. That's like just a super unique play pattern that I haven't really seen before. And if he's got any videos up about it, I highly suggest going and checking them out. He was super fun to play with. I really appreciated his politics. Um, he, just made a lot of really good points throughout the game and was keeping everything fair and, very respectful to the rest of the table, which I really appreciated. And his deck was just awesome. So that was probably the most fun game I played. That game also had a young man named, I guess I probably won't mention his name since he's not an internet personality. He's not front facing, so I should not reveal information about other people. But he was maybe like 11 or 12, which was impressive, first of all. He was playing Sephiroth, which was so cool. And he was, he's a kid, so he's like kind of unassuming. I wasn't, undervaluing him in any way, because when I was his age, I was playing for like nationals tournaments in Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff. So like I know there, just because you're a kid doesn't mean you're not competent. And he was competent. He was playing some very strong play patterns with Sephiroth, and a bunch of board wipes. So he kind of had my number, being on Rock Thras, which was scary. And then the Blue Farm player, who was the 4th seat over here, just had enough interaction to kind of push the game along through the rule laws, and then we ended up going into a draw there. So my third game was a draw, but still just like an awesome game. I just had a wonderful time playing it, and like I said, Corbyn was super cool. I'm gonna try to talk to him about my hay buy list for the budget tournament, and see if I can make something cool with that with him and my friend Jared. We're all gonna try to work on that together. Let's see, 4th round. That was my only loss. I played against Tivit, who I would later meet again in the finals, Rogsai, and Blue Farm. The Tivit player on turn 2 played a Curse Totem, so I was in trouble from the get-go. And then the Rogsai player tried to go for a win on, like, I want to say his turn 3? Yeah, because I believe the Blue Farm player went first over here. Yeah, so his turn 3, he powered out a Necro, tried to go for a win. We had the interaction to stop it. The Blue Farm player untapped and used a Witchclaw Talisman that was given to him to win. And, that was all it wrote. But that was fine. I'm still at 11 points. Even if I draw, I think I still make top cut. But I was playing for the win because I prefer to play for wins. I don't like drawing very much. And then in round 5, I played against Jinsakai, which was super cool. That deck was crazy. He played a Timna and then played Jin and was just like, I'm gonna attack you, draw 5 cards. I was like, whoa. So that was a lot to try to get through. And yeah, just like a lot of the tournament overall was like really cool because everyone played Magic basically, for at least the Swiss. Everyone played, all their lands. They played a lot of spells, a lot of interaction. No one was like just like mulliganing to a bad hand and just like having to not do anything and kind of sit there. It was all like really good games in the Swiss, which was sweet. I really was happy about that. Being my first tournament and stuff, I wanted to see what a tournament feels like. So that was great. I will say the game in semifinals was not so great. My opponents all mulled to either 4 or 5. And then I played against, I met the young man again, the Sephiroth player, in the semifinals. I was 2nd seed, so I went first in that pod. He went second, and he only drew 1 land the whole game. The Rog Sai player, who was playing a super cool deck, I will actually talk about that after I talk about the game. Did not. He kept a no lander with fast mana, and ended up not ever getting enough mana to actually start doing stuff. And then the fourth player also was stuck on one land as well, who was on blue farm. So unfortunately, that game I just kind of ran away with because I kept a strong 7. Um, and they had an amount of interaction. I want to say they all interacted at least once. The Rogsai player might have interacted twice, but I had enough to let the things that didn't matter through and stop the things that did, and ended up getting there through it. So that game didn't feel like a game, unfortunately, but that's Magic sometimes, and that's just how the fallacy of lands works. Then the finals. Oh, sorry. Said I was going to talk about the Rockside player. He was playing some super cool cards. He was playing like Tiller Engine and Intruder Alarm and Forbidden Orchard, which was like a combo. So that was super cool. And then like some other interesting stuff with that, with like giving your opponent's creatures to untap your creatures to do stuff, which was super cool. And now that I'm thinking about it, I do believe it was Rogsai, I want to say, but it kind of sounds like it was Thras, but I believe it was Rogsai. But it was weird. It was an interesting deck. And then going on to finals here, it was weird how Spice Rack matched us up. I did not end up being first seat, even though I had the most points, which was interesting. I was second seat, but the first seat defeated the Swiss first seed in the semifinals. So Spice Rack deemed that as more valuable. So he went first. I went second. The Tibet player that I mentioned earlier went third, and then a friend of mine actually, who was on Riel, the Everwise, which was super cool, was in 4th seed. And it was we split in the finals. So the only thing on the line was the trophy, and we played a very fun game. I kept a pretty risky hand, honestly, of one land Chrome Box, drew a Mox Diamond off the top, and then decided to just play the artifacts, just to have more colored mana available, pitching the only land, and ended up paying off. And I will say the Tibet player again played a Cursed Totem on 2. So that was again tough to get through, because it's a Cursed Totem against Rock Thras, which is a tough one. I casted Rhystic Study pretty early, after the first player, who was also on Rock Thras, played his first Rhystic Study. I had a Fierce for it. I do highly respect Rhystic. It gets you out of situations that you would otherwise have no business winning, even though he was already behind, being low on cards. But Rhystic Study is that engine. It is built different, is what I'll say about it. And then my Rhystic Study resolved. I was able to draw a couple of cards off of it, but the Tivit player had an Esper Sentinel. He was drawing cards off of that. So we're already getting into like high hand count territory pretty early. Then there was some interaction. We were all just kind of playing creatures, playing to the board. The Rog Thras player over here tried to flash photography my Rhystic Study. So this was his second attempt to get a Rhystic Study. That got interacted with again, so he was now without a Rhystic Study again for a second time, which felt kind of bad. I was not drawing very much off of my Rhystic Study. They were either getting paid for or not that many spells were getting cast. And then we all continued to play through the board. Got around another turn cycle. Riel casts Steel Enchantment on my Ristic Study. So now I am now without a Ristic Study. And then the real player also casts Mystic Remora. So there is an Esper Sentinel, a Mystic Remora, and a Ristic Study over here. The Tivit player also casts a Ristic Study, which comes in. And then the Rock Thras player casts his Flash Photography, targeting a Ristic Study, for the third time, and he finally gets his Ristic Study. So now I am the only one left without a Ristic effect. And we continued playing through all of that. This game ended up going very long because of it. But even still, I was able to make some pretty big plays. I had an early training grounds. I did not get to activate Thrasios early, obviously because of the cursed totem. But we were all kind of, just sort of a standoff with all of us just kind of watching each other, seeing who's going to make the first move here. Riel did end up trying to make the first move effectively after drawing basically his whole deck. He went for an LED. We had to interact on it. And after all of this interaction, these two players, both the Tivit and the Rock Thras player, both had like half their deck in their hand. So I was looking kind of bad with only having like 5 or 6 cards. But it's part of the game. So and you just have to play through it. If a lot of interaction is getting used, that doesn't mean that they're going to have more. They might, but you can count on if they're using all of their MBTs, if they're using all of their flusters, their packs, like you might be able to squeak something through. I did have to use a Force of Negation, and my only blue card at the time was my Breeze Caller. So I was effectively putting myself in a pretty bad spot to save the table. And I told the Tivit player that, the game I had played before, he was really respectable. And I was like, I know you have more interaction. I want you to know I'm using this, and I'm putting myself in a bad spot so that you can, interact more, and hopefully we can stop this and keep the game going. Which we did, but unfortunately, we did kind of mess up the Esper Sentinel triggers, and the real player's deck was so low that non-creature spells would kill him, basically. And because the stack war went so long, we went to time in finals. I did end up blowing up the Curse Scroll with the Boseiju, which allowed me to draw a bunch of cards with Thrasios and find more interaction. I had a Hexing Squelcher in my graveyard, so if at any point I can find a Shifting Woodlands off of Thrasios, I can make my stuff encounterable again, which was pretty important. I was looking for that during the real player's turn, was not able to find it, but I did have a Seedborn, so I was going to be untapping each turn anyways to try to find it again. But unfortunately, sudden death rules at time and finals means whoever has the highest life total. So I picked up the win off of having the highest life total. I did have a Seedborn again, so I was going to be untapping with the Rock Thras player. He had half his deck in his hand, but once again, everyone used a ton of interaction, so a lot of it was already gone. So it was really kind of a toss-up where this game was going to end up. But I did end up, effectively on a technicality, winning. But the game overall felt good, It felt like it was a really fun game. It was long. And a lot of respect to the judge and appreciation for sitting through it. Because it was 2 hours for the game and then 20 minutes for overtime, so it was 140 minutes, which is a while to be sitting there. We were playing the whole day was 9 a.m. to about 10:30, so like 13 and a half hours of Magic, which is a while. one of my longer tournaments for sure. And long for my first CDH tournament, obviously. But everyone was pretty happy, and like I said, since we split, everyone was just kind of happy to play a good game. Um, so yeah, that was the finals, and I was really happy to be there and be able to play a lot of cool games. Another cool thing was in the finals, the Thras player, I had played in a pickup game of CDH the day before, which was like my testing game. Because I haven't gotten to play in the wild effectively before. Normally we just play at a bar once a week. So that was pretty cool, and he was a cool dude. He's gonna invite me to the Thras Discord, and I'm gonna talk about the deck there with people and make some changes and stuff. And we'll see how that goes. He played Flash Photography. I was not convinced on that card, so I did not play it over the weekend. But after seeing him play it, that card was impressive. 4 mana is a lot initially. I don't love Clever Impersonator. I've played it in the past, but never found it amazing. Omni Changeling was awesome. That was what I switched out for Clever Impersonator. And I did have I got to copy an Atraxa, which was super cool. I got to copy a Seedborn Muse, which was sweet. Obviously, you can do that with any clone, but it happened to be Omni Changeling, and that was cool. But yeah, Flash Photography was very impressive. So I think I'm going to try to find room for that. I'm not sure where yet, but I'll put my link to the Moxfield, and if people want to try to give me some pointers and say what maybe I should cut for it, or other stuff I should maybe try out, I would love to get feedback and talk about the deck. I have a super fun time playing the deck. I was initially playing Loot, the Key to Everything, when I started playing CDH, because that card is just super cool. It's got Ward, and it draws a bunch of cards, and I was like, this is sweet. But as time went on, the other players in my group started playing just traditional decks. They're playing like Blue Farm, Glarb, Krark Saka, Atraxa, Sisay, and it was like, I just can't play Loot anymore, so I switched to Thras, and I've just been having a great time playing it. I love creature decks. They're certainly where it's at. I've always been a green player for sure at heart. And then blue secondary. Simic is my favorite guild, like not close. So yeah, it was a great weekend. I threw out a modern event as well. I won that initial CEDH game on Friday. And then I played another pickup game on Sunday. Because I didn't have really anything else to do, and I played against the other two players from the initial CDH game on Friday, which was cool, which was Maryland and Thras. Then that was a fun game. The Maryland player ended up getting a Vamp Tutor through, which let him get the mana he needed to do more tutors, to find Food Chain, and Eternal Scourge, and then exile our decks, and we were just dead. So that was a cool game. I played against Azula in that game too, and Azula was cool. She didn't get a chance to get off the ground really, but she did play a Bowmasters, and we had to interact with that, so that was a little unfortunate. Con overall was like a great experience, much smaller than Magic Cons that I've been to before. Just being an SCGcon, it felt like a Grand Prix. Grand Prix from back in the day, if anyone remembers those were awesome. And all the artists were super cool. Artist lines being shorter was great. I really appreciated that. Vendors were all awesome. Everyone from my team got a lot of really cool stuff. Multiple people got big cards from the vendor, or from the ticket booth. I got the raised foil Dragon's Rage Channeler Secret Lair. I think it's called Everything's on Fire, which I've been wanting that DRC for a long time, so I was really happy to get that with my modern winnings from the 3-0. I had a friend get second place in one of the pre-modern 1Ks with goblins, which was sweet. I had a couple other friends get top 8 in the Value Vintage tournaments, so they got a little bit of money too. So the whole team just did well overall this weekend, which was awesome for us. We all had a great experience, and just an overall great time. So I'm appreciative to everyone at the con for doing all that. and making it a great time for all of us. I don't have a whole lot else to talk about. I would appreciate just feedback on the deck, and I really appreciate everyone who's coming to listen. And I'm gonna put my Moxfield link in, and if people want to check it out, my Moxfield name is Caliber EX, so you can find it that way. Obviously, just the link is easy as well. I'll probably put Corbyn's link down as well if people want to check out. I believe his Go-Shintai deck is on there, so if you want to see that deck, it's really cool. um, and I appreciate everyone listening, and it was a great time. I hope I'm gonna try to get down to more CEDH tournaments in Green Bay, because I had just an awesome time at this one, and obviously I don't have to win the other ones. I would love to play more good games of CEDH, because when you play a good game of CEDH overall for everyone, it is probably my favorite format, honestly. I've always loved Commander, just overall, and good games of CEDH feel awesome. They're so fluid. They're so efficient. They can just be so interesting and lead to such just fun play patterns and stuff. I will preface that with saying I don't love the cardristic study, just because of the time consumption and how powerful it is generically. But like I said, a lot of respect to it. You have to. It's a powerful card. But yeah, just a great time. I'm trying to get to more events in Green Bay if I can, or around the Midwest area if there's anything close by that I can. And so thanks for listening, and I'll probably start posting some more videos talking about changes and how maybe games felt. The games we play once a week. I'll probably talk about the budget tournament after that comes around, and maybe some modern stuff if I ever get to actually play that around here again. Because playing Neobrand in at SCG in Milwaukee was awesome. That deck it felt unbeatable. So it was a really good time. We'll see everyone later.